All right, so I think we are on time to start off with this session. So, hey everyone, what's up? My name is Muiz, and I am the head of community relations here at Cloudways. And today's webinar is about building a foundation and an understanding about what our malware scanner is, how it works, what are malware alerts, and why is your site being flagged on malware, or why are there malwares being flagged on your website? How does it work? What is the backend technology? And for that, I am joined by some lovely folks from Immunify 360, Sergey and Vladimir, who are going to be taking us through the entire process of decoding malware alerts, what they are, how are they, how are they discovered on your website, what is the technology that is being, used in the back end to give you a proper explanation and an understanding of what the malware alert scanner is and how it works. So taking you through the agenda for today's session, just wanted to just repeat that how Immunify 360 defines malware and why does it define it the way that it does, right? Types of malwares that are being detected by Immunify 360, the scanner, and finally, what are malware alerts and why are they sent? One of the reasons why we are doing this webinar with our customers is to also take your questions, your concerns, and your queries around the scanner, around the feature itself. If you have run into any issues or do you have any pressing matter that you wanted to discuss with our team, this is your chance to do that. We will be opening questions in the last 15 minutes of this session. So I would highly suggest that you take on this opportunity and ask your questions in the comment section about the Immunify 360's malware scanner on Cloudways. Share your experience, your feedback around the product and the feature as well. I think that would be highly appreciated too. And just to make sure that you ask questions along the way, I have a few folks from the Cloudways platform team as well to answer your questions. I have people from Immunify 360 to answer your questions. So it's like the entire team is here to sort of, cater to your concerns and queries. So I don't think you will get a bigger opportunity or a better opportunity than this to ask your questions and get your concerns answered, right? And with that, on that note, I'm going to be handing over the screen share to Vladimir, who is the product manager at Immunify 360. He's going to be taking you through Immunify 360's malware scanner. How does it integrate with Cloudways, what it does, and why is it so important for you to have that on your application and servers. So Vladimir, over to you now. It's your floor. You can share your screen. I'm just stopping my screen share for now. And now you can, share your screen and, present away.
Sure. Give me a second.
And while Vladimir is setting up his screen share, I just wanted to remind everyone else that, again, just to press on the matter of questions, ask away your questions, feel free to raise your concerns, share your feedback, don't shy away. The team is here to answer your concerns and questions. The Immunify team is here to do that as well. Vladimir, over to you now.
Sorry, probably I've shared it in one way. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, let's start. So let's talk about malware. What is a malware and how we define it? So malware is some samples of unwanted code that's actually designed to cause a damage. It's either disrupting your server operation, stealing your data, hitting your reputation, or getting the access to the computer to use its resources. Let's move on and talk about how it is dangerous. So first of all, it is designed to be dangerous. It can be either data thief when someone wants to steal your data or the data of your customers. It can be the search engine related problems when someone trying to get your traffic, get your customers, but it also can be a case when it is you're just a victim of a massive scale attack. It can cause you a financial loss and decrease of your overall brand reputation. So how we define a malware? Actually, it's a pretty broad term. We define a malware as any unwanted code that resides on your system with intent to do damage. Let's dive into details. What the type of malware we define? So first of all, there are two major categories: client malware and server-side malware. Client malware requires web browser to operate. It's usually a JavaScript code, maybe HTML with some URL and redirects. The server malware is executed on a server. It can be tied to some browser request, but it may act in the background doing its harm. There are two major types of placements there. It's either standalone when the malware resides in one file, or it can be injected. It can be injected into a file, or it can be injected into a lot of categories, but I will just name the most prominent categories of malware we're dealing with. The malware that sends spam. Blackdoor and web shells are very, very bad types of malware, giving a really full control of your account and the server. Phishing malware, miners, they were really popular back in the days. Now they're less popular, but still some new miners appears. Malware that does redirect and leads to the traffic stealing. T-Face, this is type of a malware that actually corrupt the presentation of your site, doing whatever nasty thing it can do, from the just stealing your clients or even to do the propaganda. Sometimes we see URL malware that usually embeds malicious URL into the your code and steal customers, or known that Immunify detect more malware than other scanners, especially plugin-based scanners. There are several reasons to that I want to bring to your attention. So the first thing is about how we detect. Nowadays, malware is trying to hide itself from the plain sight, trying to obfuscate its code, be distributed across multiple injections in the same file or even few files, or it can be, we're seeing a quite interesting trend that LLMs are used often to just change the form of a malware, leaving it the same intent, with the same intent. So to fight all these threats, we need to have a really sophisticated approach. Our approach starts with the live detection. That is very important to address the malware once it's first hitting your file system. And then we have a signature-based detection. That's something that majority of vendor does. But the signatures is often not enough because of the obfuscated code. We doing the deobfuscation a lot. We have a number of obfuscators, we produce these deobfuscators, but that technology is getting more and more complicated. So in order to fight this challenge, what we do, we actually collect suspicious files and take them into our cloud. In our cloud, we can do really CPU-consuming tasks like deobfuscating with various techniques. We can, and more important, we can emulate what this code does. That's actually reduce need of deobfuscation, and we can once we can emulate what it does, we can actually rely on the execution rather than form, how it is presented. We're doing a lot of other things in the cloud as well. So let's go to the reason number 2. And it is very important to know that when you are dealing with a malware, you're actually fighting a really formidable force. There are smart guys sitting on the other end, and they are every day inventing techniques. They're trying to bypass the detection. They're trying to bypass firewall and whatever defense is. So what we decided to do, we decided that we need a multi-layer approach. Every layer needs to play its role from reposing the attack. Let's name a few. So we have an IP firewall. We have that's an obvious thing. We have a web application firewall that actually knows about tons of different CVEs and vulnerabilities and clone them. We have our proprietary technology, proactive defense, that's also called as real-time application self-protection. And what it does, it actually scans behavior of the PHP code once it is executed, and knowing this behavior, it can predict that this particular code is bad and kill the execution right away. You're actually not only taking the data from the one server, but it takes data from all the servers it runs and know where are the samples of the bad execution and good execution. We also, because there's another layer, and it is called real-time scanner. What it does is actually listen to the file system hooks and modification, and in the very same moment, and the file is to be written to the file system, it actually runs the detection. So really often, we stop malware before it even hitting your disk. Then we have an intrusion detection system. It is a collection of quite sophisticated techniques to detect unusual behavior of the actor on the system. And finally, database scanning. Database scanning is often overlooked through the malware protection systems because it's really hard to do. And I really pleasant to say that we kind of address this issue, and now we see that the short portion of all this malware is coming through the database. So database is infected first, then malware appears on the sites and the file system and so on, so forth. Let's talk about this third reason. And the third reason is really easy to explain. It is actually our scale and herd immunity. Honestly, it's a really unlikely case when if you infect it, you're the first who get this virus. In reality, it usually means that this particular bad piece of code is distributed across the entire internet. And we, because of our scale, can detect it in various places and say, hey, that is the malicious sample. As you can read from a slide, we're protecting more than 56 million of domain. And with all our technology, we are signing a really huge number of verdicts every day. 4 million verdicts we create either automatically or semi-automatically every day. So our protection is improving every day. So that's really big numbers. And in order to make these verdicts, we're processing more than 700 petabytes of data monthly. All right, let's move on. So I have a few questions to answer right away. And the first is, why does TMP folders always appear clean? And why we care about malware in TMP folders? Honestly, the malware inside of TMP folder is a special kind of malware. It is short-living malware designed to do harm and then disappear. The TMP folder itself has a nature to be rewritten quite often. And if we, because of a real-time scanner, see that the malware is there, it actually signals to us that something is able to drop malware there. So that is why it is important once we see this signal to react promptly. Then the other question here is about spam commands. By spam commands, you probably know that it is something that your user can write on the site. It's stored in a database. And when it's stored in a database, even if it's not approved to be published, it's still really a threat, either a source code or a SQL injection, or it may be very different type of a malware inside of it. And it may be lie still and not noticed, but there is always a chance that it will be unintentionally published and do the harm. So that is a very serious threat that we consider to be deleted. And the third question here is infections that are found inside of the cache files. And that's a really good question. Why do you even bother with cache files? They're temporary, and but they actually indicate that the malware in the database. The majority of the cases, when we can detect some piece of a malware or URLs, malicious URLs, redirects inside a cache file, that indicates that your database actually has a malware that's able to reproduce itself through the cached files. All right, I guess the next slide is on the Cloudways, and use the option. I will stop my sharing.
Yeah, thank you, Vladimir, for the presentation. I think that was extremely informative and insightful. So next up, we have Cecilia from Cloudways' team, and she's going to be covering up a few slides on malware alerts, which obviously is being sent through the Cloudways platform. She's going to be taking you through what malware alerts are, why are they being sent, how can you turn them off. So Cecilia, over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, hi, everybody. So yes, we've received a lot of questions about the emails that you started receiving about the malware protection add-on, especially when you haven't even started using it, but you started receiving some emails. So, well, malware scanning is enabled across all Cloudways applications. So when we detect the malware on any customer's application, that does not have the malware protection enabled, we will send an alert, an email alert, informing the customer of the infection. So this is something that is included for free in all of our servers. So, I mean, you're not paying for anything. You're just being informed that something was found in your application and that you might want to take a look at it. So that's how they work at the moment. But we are aware that some customers do not want to receive these notifications for any reasons. We do recommend that you keep them enabled, just so you know that everything is working properly and that you won't have any surprises with us in the application side. But we do have a system or a process on how to disable these alerts, and it works at the very similar to any of our other alerts that you can set up in our Cloudways bot. So you go to the Cloudways bot configuration, you click on notifications and then settings, you click on all. This is a screenshot of how does it look in your Cloudways platform. And then you can uncheck the app malware detection from the server's alert section. And then you click on save settings, and that's it. We, however, as I mentioned, we recommend that you keep it on just in case something is detected. And we also have the option of setting a different or a separate alert channel that you can set up for any of our Cloudways bot alerts, but especially on your malware alerts. You can even set it up as a Slack notification. If you're using Slack, you can set it up on the channel section. Only choose the servers or recommendations that you will wish to receive in that channel, and that's it. So it's very simple, and you can also add specific team members that can receive these alerts.
All right, thank you, Cecilia, for the informative insight on malware alerts and why are they important and how you can actually turn them off, and you have other options as well with regards to the alerts apart from email. So that was it from the presentation side. We can now take questions. I mean, we have a bit of time to take questions from the audience. Like if you have any questions around the malware add-on, if you have any feedback to share around the Immunify 360 malware scanner, this is your chance to do that. So if you have any questions, we will wait for a few more minutes to see if there are any questions in the chat. If there aren't any, obviously we will be concluding this session. But yeah, so the first question, this function on Cloudways is free forever. So Cecilia or Shazib, if you want to answer this question, like is this function, the Malware 360 scanner, is it free forever, or like is there a chance that we will be adding like a price tag to it? Sure.
Okay, am I audible? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so I can take this question. Basically, malware protection itself is you can say, comprises of different features in which we have malware protection itself, and then we have web shield, we have web, we have DOS protection, and we have IP reputation, and different things are actually integrated in this whole malware protection package. So basically, malware protection will be paid add-on, but the other features that are integrated on the server are actually free for every customers, and they are already integrated on all the Cloudways servers. So malware protection will be an added service that customer can purchase to scan their site, to you can say to clean the malware. But the web shield, the web application firewall, DOS protection, that is already installed on your servers. So that is free.
Got it. Thank you, Shazib. So any other questions? Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Any of the questions that you may have around the scanner, around Immunify 360, and the Immunify 360 team is also here to answer your questions. We have Shazib from Cloudways to answer your questions. So any of the questions regarding the platform, regarding the feature or the add-on, feel free to ask. We still have a few minutes to take questions and answer those questions as well. So yeah, any other questions? So Eugene has a question: what is the compatibility with Cloudflare? Can it or will it work together? Shazib, if you can take this question.
Yes, I can take this. So we have a scenario recently that we actually came across with Cloudflare APO specifically. So it was actually conflicting, the web shield of Immunify was actually conflicting over there with the Cloudflare APO, which we actually fixed with the help of Immunify team and the product team. So this is fixed and it's compatible. It can work all together. If the customer has Cloudflare and he wants to use the malware protection and the web shield that is already installed on server, that will work perfectly fine. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you, Shazib. I think there is a follow-up question on the previous one. Shazib, if you can read the chat, it says including repairing WordPress or just detector. So
for WordPress, if you opt in the paid malware scanner, paid malware protection add-on, it will definitely, you can say, fix all the infections on the WordPress site that you are hosting over here. So it will not only detect and show you all the results, but it will clean proactively.
all right, thank you, Shazib. So we have another question. I'm not sure if this question or it's a comment. Let me just go through it. So Francis says that we had a situation twice on our client WordPress website where malicious code was added in to redirect the site only if it's coming from a search engine and not the browser bar. We ran a WordFence scan and nothing came up. The first time we found it in functions.php, and the second time we found it deep in plugins PHP file. Immunify 360 would be able to scan and alert. That is the question. Also, after the scan, would Immunify automatically remove the malware, or would the IT team need to go in and make the necessary changes? So there are two parts of this question. The first part is, would the Immunify 360 scanner would that be able to scan and alert this type of a malware where WordFence is showing nothing? And then the second part is, would Immunify also automatically remove that malware, or would there be a need of manual intervention over there as well? So I think, Shazib, if you can take this question, I would also like an input from Vladimir and his colleague over there as well.
Sure. So right now the malware scanning is actually free. If you go over to the application section, you will see malware protection section in your platform, where you can actually see if there is any code malware that is injected into any of your sites. Because malware protection that is installed on a server will directly skim and search malware through all the applications hosting on your server. So it will show you the specific malware if you just for example you actually mentioned that it's if in the functions.php file. So it will show you the functions.php file in the malware scanner section. But to opt in the scanning, or you can say if you want to clean the infection, you need to subscribe to the add-on, and it will clean the malware from that file, and it will actually proactively defense for any upcoming malware as well.
Yeah, it's hard to add something on top of it.
All right. Thank you, Shazi, for that. Fuzzy, if that answers this question, if it hasn't, you can obviously leave. Okay, so that looks like answers your question. So Abbas has a question.
I would like to add a little bit on
Sergey,
the
please. Yeah,
specifically on the topic of redirects, malicious redirects in PHP. Besides just malware scanner detecting those redirects and cleaning them up, with paid subscription, you have proactive defense, which can detect those redirects as they happen inside of the PHP code and block them on that level. So even before the scan had the chance to detect this file, the redirect should get blocked.
All right, thank you, Sergey, for that additional note. So Abbas has a question. Could you please compare this service? I'm assuming he is referring to the Unify 360 service with WordFence Premium. Since WordFence has a lot of data collected from free users of WordFence for WAF. So I think Vladimir, this question is directed towards Unify 360. So if you can just answer this question.
Well, I will try. Honestly, I'm not a big user of WordFence Premium, but I believe, although they really popular plugin, they unfortunately will have the same problem as every plugin. They cannot operate on the server level. While we integrate it on, remember I said there are multi-level protection. And every level matters for the perfect protection. And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for us, WordFence doesn't really cover a huge portion of these layers. And yeah, that is actually good note that they are collecting a lot of data from the users. So we do the same. And as I said, herd immunity is a very important thing for us. So I believe multi-protection really matters a lot. Multi-layer protection.
All right, Shazia, do you have something to add on to this?
Sure. Yeah, just to add to the point Vladimir just shared. So WordFence is actually for specific WordPress sites only. So, but the malware protection add-on itself will cover a lot of applications, PHP applications as well. It's not just WordPress application. It will cover Magento, Joomla, and anything you install on Cloudways servers. It will actually defense from malware for those applications as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point, though. I mean, WordFence is only for WordPress, but the malware scanner. Yeah, malware scanners is for other apps as well. Okay, so we have another question. From Karen. It says that we activated the paid malware add-on to clean a site that had a malware alert. When we deactivated the add-on, the alerts came back. For now, we have kept the add-on active, but can you help explain what is happening here? We couldn't find any malware in the location given by the malware alert. So again, I think Shazib, you can take this question. If Vladimir, if you want to add anything to it, we can.
So this specific case needs to be checked, Moise, because if you activated the malware add-on and it cleaned the site already, then there is no possibility to if any specific theme or core files needs to be upgraded from the application side, then it's possible. Otherwise, if the malware is clean, then it's not possible to get an alerts again and again for those specific things. But it's actually the to the point that you might need to upgrade any specific plugin or theme that is infecting the website. So enabling it proactively, if you enable it, the malware add-on proactively, it will self-defense with the malware. Otherwise, if you disable it, I would say that you might need to upgrade your the plugins and themes and everything on the WordPress code.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. There will be no alerts when the protection is enabled, because we will proactively clean all the type of malware, stop all the malicious attacks as much as we can, and block even the malicious execution. So, and all this will happen in the background, because that means protection. So you are not really need to worry about what is going on with your server. You are protected.
All right. Yeah.
Just to add, Karen, please drop your email ID and the website that is actually you are facing the issue on. We can check it.
Yeah, I was about to say that, Shazib. Thank you for pointing this out, Karen. You can drop your Cloudways email ID. Shazib and his team can look into it. They can get back to you with an update, or if there's a solution or if there's a problem that they identify, they can get back to you after this call. Eugene had a question. I had an issue this summer where the site was being attacked by bots and overloaded the server. I had Cloudflare integration through Cloudways that did not help, and old version of your bot protection. I had to use cleantalk.org spam firewall to filter and block requests. With new Immunify 360, I see that it works better now. Should I be using cleantalk.org spam firewall, or it's not needed anymore? Vladimir, can you take this question?
Well, I think the spam firewall not needed anymore. So the short answer, you can stop using it.
All right, short and simple answer. Great. Abbas has another question. Thanks a lot for your answer. You're welcome. Is there any common database to take the most recent attack data and IP blacklists? I mean, does Immunify 360 use such a database and take advantage of some data collected from WordPress users, like those collected by WordFence, free and premium users? Vladimir?
Well, yeah, that is exactly what we do. We are collecting a lot of data. We are integrating with the various databases on the various level. We share the IP information with other vendors. We take information, domain information, IP information from other vendors. So we are tightly integrating the internet, let's say, protection community. And I think other vendors do this as well, but I believe due to our scale, we're probably the most big player on this market.
Yeah, I'd like to add just that we do monitor all of the feeds for any new vulnerabilities and things like that. But the biggest insight that we get is still from the data coming from the fleet of servers protected by Immunify. because we get most detailed reports this way, and we can actually see, for example, if new vulnerability pops up, new CV, we can actually see how much it is being abused across the fleet. And open source feeds just don't provide that level of detail.
Yeah. Thank you, Sergey and Vladimir, for that answer. So Kieran, yeah, all your plugins and themes are up to date. As I said before, and Shazib also mentioned that you can drop your email ID in the comment section, or you can just message Shazib personally through this chat, and drop your information over there, and Shazib and his team will look into it. Any other questions, folks? We still have a few minutes in this session, so if there are any other questions around Immunify, Cecilia, you have something to say. Please go ahead.
Yeah, just as a reminder to everybody here, the pricing for the malware protection add-on right now it depends on the number of applications that you want to use it on. So if you are using it on less than 5 applications, the price is $4 per month. If you're using it in between 6 and 15 applications, then it's $3 per month. Per application, and more than 15 applications, it's only $2 per month per application. But we do manage some bulk discounts. So if you are interested in getting a discount, if you are using the malware protection add-on in more than 20, 30, 40 websites, then you can reach out to us. If you have an designated account manager, then you can reach out to them directly, or you can also contact us at success@cloudways.com, and we will be able to help you there, okay?
All right. Thank you, Cecilia, for that added information. So I do not see any more questions from the audience. So I think on that note, I would like to conclude this session. I would like to thank, first of all, the Immunify folks for being here. Vladimir and Sergey, thank you for taking out your time from your busy schedule and being here to present your information and about your service to our audience. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cecilia and Shazib, who were kind enough to volunteer and take their time out from their busy schedule and be here and participate in this webinar. And finally, thank you all for being here. Thanks to everyone who showed up for our webinar. Thank you so much for sitting through this entire webinar, asking questions, and making this webinar an engaging session. I hope that everyone learned a lot or something from this webinar. They take back something from this webinar in terms of malware scanner and Immunify 360. Yeah, I think this is pretty much it. Thank you, everyone. Until next time. Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.